So I'm going to be, first of all, I apologize. I've been sick, so if I cough or sneeze or whatever, I apologize. But I'm going to be keeping it back a little bit to Esther 4, and I'm not going to read the whole chapter, but I will go back. So we'll start in verse 11 and go all the way through. And all the king's servants and the people of the king's provinces do know that whosoever man or woman shall come unto the king into the inner court, that he is not called, there is one law of his to put him to death, except such to whom the king shall hold out the golden scepter that he may live, that I have not been called to come into the king these 30 days. And they told Mordecai Esther's words. Then Mordecai commanded to answer Esther, think not of thyself, that thou shalt escape the king's house more than all the Jews, for if thou altogether holdest thy peace at this time, then their enlargement and deliverance will arise to the Jews from another place, but thou and thy father's house shall be destroyed. And who knoweth whether thou art come to the kingdom for such a time as this? Then Esther bade them to return Mordecai this answer, Go gather together all the Jews that are present in Shushan, and fast for me, and neither eat nor drink for 3 days or night. I also and my maidens will fast likewise, and so I go unto the king, not according to law, and if I perish, I perish. So Mordecai went this way, and did according to him, and did according to all that Esther had commanded him to. So I'm going to start back at the beginning, because Esther really, that's just something that God's laid on my heart months ago, but it really confused me, and I didn't understand a single thing of what it was saying, so that was just me. So I had to go and I had to break it down in Google Words and see what it meant. But basically, Mordecai was Esther's father, but really, blood relationship, that was Mordecai's cousin. But he adopted Esther, and he was a man that, in the beginning of Esther 4, he sits at the king's gate to show his closeness to the king. He always sat at the king's gate, and Mordecai found out a lot of information that he probably wasn't supposed to find out by sitting at the king's gate. And Esther, she was a queen, but she was also a Jew. Mordecai was a Jew, and they were in Persia. That's where all this was taking place. And Esther was appointed the queen when the former king's wife, her name was Vashti, she failed to obey what the king wanted her to do. So the king chose Esther to be his queen and wife. And this is where God started working here, because they didn't know Esther was a Jew. She hid it from everybody. And they didn't know Mordecai. They didn't know any of this was together. And God planned for her to be in that spot at that time later on down the road. And then you have Haman. He was a descendant of the Amalekites, the Jews, which were the Jews' ancient enemies. He came to be appointed prince by the king, and he plotted to kill all the Jews. What he did was the king, kind of put him in this position, and he trusted him, and he bribed the king with this huge lump sum of money, and the king knew nothing what he was talking about, really. And this is talking about this throughout the beginning of the chapter. But Haman made the decree, and Mordecai refused to abide by it, and in return, Haman plotted to kill all the Jewish exiles throughout the Persian Empire. When Mordecai found out, he rent his clothes and put on sackcloth. And what sackcloth is coarse black cloth made from goat's hair. And he sat before the king's gate in this sackcloth. And sackcloth showed they wore sackcloth back then because it showed us a sign of their mourning and prayer, and no man was to enter the gate wearing sackcloth. So Mordecai went to the very front of the king's gate, and he just sat there, and he was mourning and praying with his sackcloth. And so Esther, she's like, I just imagine Esther being sitting up in the thing, and she's like, man, what is he doing? Come on now. And so Esther sends one of her people to go see what he's doing, and she actually brings some clothes to try to make him take off the sackcloth, which she shouldn't have done that, but she was also probably trying to look out for him because they were Jewish and that was not their custom. So they start this conversation, Mordecai and Esther, between like a middleman. So like there's this man that goes out to the king's gate and talks to Mordecai, then he goes back and tells Esther, then Esther goes back, and it's back and forth, back and forth. And so Mordecai, what he wants to do, when he found out about this decree and he knew that they were going to kill all the Jews, well, Esther's a Jew, but nobody there where she lives knows that she's a Jew. And so Mordecai said, he declared her to go unto the king. He told her you need to go unto the king and you need to tell him, this is not right, and like you just need to go talk to him about this because it's not right. Well, he told Esther, he was like, Esther, you're the only person that can save your people, but Esther first had to accept the position that God was trying to put her in. We talked in Sunday school this morning, God will open the door, but so will the devil. Well, Esther first had to walk through that door before she could save her people. And Esther was reluctant to obey. I mean, she would have been killed if you went into the inner courts without being called to, which would have been it, which was Esther. If she were to go into the inner courts, you're not called up, you will be put to death. So Esther, she was reluctant to obey to Mordecai because she probably was going to be put to death. Esther was worried about her safety, for if she entered the courts, she would be killed. And I could just see her and us a lot of times, oh God, this is too dangerous. Why are you putting me in this situation? Like, you pray to be able to do something for God's kingdom, but when it comes, God's putting it in your hands, oh, why me? Why do you want me to do this? I'm not good enough for this. And so Mordecai, he comes back with a response, and basically it's like a big push of encouragement, which we all need. And he's saying, do you think you will survive more than the Jews because you were in the king's house? And Haman would have found out that she was a Jew, and she would have been dead too. And then he continues on, and he's saying, if you do nothing, deliverance will rise for the Jews from another way, but thy father's house shall be destroyed. So God, he put Esther here, and Mordecai knew that he put Esther here, but he also knew, okay, if Esther refuses to do this, then he will bring somebody else and put in this place that will do this. But Mordecai knew that Esther was the chosen one that had to do this. And verse 14, the end of verse 14 is my favorite. And who knows whether or not thou come to the kingdom for such a time as this. Like, that was Esther's divine, like God had been working in Esther's life throughout all this time, all these chapters, and then it comes to this point, like, this is what you have to do for my kingdom, or like, you can't just work up, and then bail out at the last minute. You have to finish through. So after, Esther consents to this, she's like, okay. But she also comes back with orders to give Mordecai and the other Jews. And verse 16, go gather together all the Jews that are present in Shushan and fast for me, and neither eat nor drink for 3 days or night. Also my maidens and I will fast likewise. So I will go into the king, which is not according to the law. And if I perish, I perish. And I perish, like that cuts deep. That's what makes Esther the hero. She came back, okay, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right. I'm not just going to walk up there and just, run on into the king's inner courts like he's going to cut my head off or something. But she said, she did it the right way. She waited it out. She made sure it was God's time. And her and her maidens and all the Jews in Mordecai, they fasted and they prayed. And at the end of the day, the I perish part, that tells me that, if God had her back, and if she perished, she perished. That was his plan for her, and that was her impact on the world, and that's what she had to do. But, Esther, in the beginning, she didn't really have the faith to go through this. She was like, what? No, like, are you crazy? I am not doing this. But then after Mordecai came through and he gave her the little boost to help her on through, and she did it. And it takes an army. If it wasn't for Mordecai pushing Esther, she would have not gone before the king. God uses us all in different ways. You know, if you're called to do something but you're kind of stuck, like Esther was stuck. I believe she knew what she was supposed to be doing, but she was stuck. She didn't have the faith to take that extra step of faith. You need your little buddy. You need a buddy to come up beside you and like, hey, you got this. Come on, you're going to do this. Like Mordecai. You know, they talk about Esther. Perhaps this is what you were made for. Perhaps that's what Mordecai was made for. It was his job to encourage Esther along the way and become her father, adopted father, and help her walk this out. And, you know, God has used Esther for to bless a life. Don't hesitate what God's calling you to. It could very well be the biggest blessing that you've ever asked for. You need to take the risk because the reward is so worth it in the end. And the last thing I'll leave you with is, what is God calling you to, and what are you doing about it? Are you going to sit back and wait it out, or are you going to take that next step of faith and go on like Esther did? That's all I have.